Hello everyone, it's that teacher here, and today's lesson is going to be on adding fractions with unlike denominators. Let's start learning. Welcome back to our channel everyone, thank you for tuning in to today's lesson. Now today's lesson will cover exactly what you need to do when you're adding fractions and your numerator is larger than your denominator. So your answer equals an improper fraction. We are going to cover what you need to do in order to solve questions like this. Let's dive into it. So, the first thing you need to understand is something called the lowest common multiple. Now, the lowest common multiple is the smallest number that is a multiple of two or more numbers. Let's use the fraction 3 over 8 to demonstrate. Now, I'm going to list the first few multiples of the number 3. In other words, the first few times tables of the number 3 and the first few multiples of the number 8, or the first few times tables of the number 8. Now, the lowest common multiple is the first time that the 3 times tables and the 8 times tables, or two other numbers, equal the same number and have something in common. So, if you look at the 3 times tables and the 8 times tables here, nothing is the same until you hit the number 24. Now, the 24 is both a multiple of the 3 times tables and the 8 times tables. It is a common multiple because it's shared between both numbers, and there's no multiple that is shared that is smaller than this number. So that is your lowest or smallest common multiple. Now, if you are having trouble with this concept in class, I highly recommend writing out the first few multiples of your times tables of your 2 or more given numbers and find when the numbers are in common. And if there are multiple numbers that are in common, you just need to find the lowest common multiple or the smallest number that is shared between both sets of times tables. Let's move right into our question here. Now, like I said, today's lesson is going to cover what happens when your numerator equals larger than your denominator in your adding fractions questions. So, 2/3 plus 1/2. Remember, we need to find the lowest common multiple of the numbers 3 and 2. That answer is going to equal 6. So the first time that the 3 times tables and the 2 times tables share a common number, a common multiple, is the number 6. So that is your lowest common multiple. Make both your denominators equal 6. So times 3 by 2 and 2 by 3. Now, whatever you do to your denominator of the fraction, so let's just start with the 2/3 here. You need to do exactly the same thing that you did to your denominator of that particular fraction. What I mean is, you times the 2 by 2 and the 1 by 3. If you were to times the 2 by 3, your answer would be completely wrong. So whatever you do to the denominator, you need to do the same thing to the numerator of your respective fraction. Now, once you have worked out your number here, I would highly recommend that you find a place in your workbook or your answer sheet in class and just rewrite it exactly like I did on the screen. Super neat. Now, what this will do is eliminate any simple errors that may occur when you're working out is a mess. I always tell my students this. It's one of my big tips. Maths is more than numbers. It's about neat numbers. Neat numbers eliminate simple, avoidable mistakes. So, once you have worked out your new fraction, you just need to simply add the numerators. So, we do not add the denominators, we only add the numerators. Now, you can see here, we have an improper fraction. You need to read the question here. If it's asking for an improper fraction, you can just simply leave your fraction exactly like this. However, if it is asking for a mixed number, what you need to do is find out. So you've got 7 over 6. So you have 6 out of 6 pieces. That means you have one whole, so you have one whole number because you have 6 out of 6, but remember you had 7. So there would be 1 left over. So basically what you're doing, you're making it into a division question. How many 6s can fit evenly into 7? That would be 1 with 1 remainder. And your remainders simply are the fraction. So 1 and 1/6. The next question is 3 over 4 plus 3 over 5. The lowest common multiple between the numbers 4 and 5 is 20. You need to make both of your denominators equal 20 by multiplying by the 4 by 5 to equal 20 and the 5 by 4, like I said again, to equal 20. Whatever you do to the denominator, you need to do the same thing to the respective numerator. Like I said, find a new part of your workbook or your sheet to fully rewrite the new fraction somewhere neat, away from all that mess and working out that you had previously done. Remember, we do not add the denominator, so the 20 stays exactly the same. We only add the numerators. In this case, you have 27 over 20. Like I said, if they're asking for your answers to be in an improper fraction, you would simply leave it as is. However, if they're asking you to convert your improper fraction into a mixed number or mixed numeral, what you need to think is, how many 20s can fit into 27? One 20 can fit into 27. That would mean you've used 20 of this 27 parts that you have, which means you have 7 remainders. You put the 7 remainders over the same denominator. Your mixed numeral here is going to be 1 and 7 over 20. Finally, I'm going to show you one more question just to consolidate that understanding. This question is going to involve simplification at the end. So let's work it out. 4 over 5 plus 2 over 6. The lowest common multiple between the numbers 5 and 6 is the number 30. Make both of your denominators equal 30. Whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do the same thing to the fraction's numerator, so the respective numerator. So as you can see, they're a little bit different there. Find a new part in your workbook or your answer sheet to rewrite your worked out fractions away from all that mess that you had previously done, so that you have this 24 over 30 plus 10 over 30, nice and neat, somewhere separate. Then simply add the numerators because we do not add the denominators. 34 over 30. Now, like I said, if they're asking for an improper fraction, leave it, you're done. But if they're asking you to convert this number into a mixed numeral or mixed number, what you need to do is think, how many 30s can fit evenly into 34? Well, that's going to be 1. So you have one whole number here. But remember, we had 34. So there's 4 extra parts which we haven't used. But why I'm showing you this example is because this can be further simplified. So we have 1 and 4 over 30, but if you were to divide the 4 and the 30 by 2, you can get an even simpler number, 1 and 2 over 15. This would be your correct answer. If they were asking for a fully simplified answer, this would be it. So even if you have fractions as a remainder, you always need to simplify. I tell the students in my class, whenever you can simplify, even if the question doesn't ask for it, just do it. It's good practice because the older you get, the more simplifying numbers is going to become important. So that is what you need to do when your answer is an improper fraction where the numerator is larger than the denominator. So I've included a bunch of questions for you to complete at home. Get a piece of paper. Remember, keep that working out neat and follow the steps of this video. And I'm sure you're going to have a high level of success and get 4 out of 4 questions correct. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate it. Every little bit counts. I'm going to keep working hard, making sure I can produce all the lessons I can in order to get that content out there for the students. So your answers I'm about to show you. So if you haven't already worked them out and you're ready to mark, pause it here, rewind, do what you need to do. But the answers are coming up now. So as you can see, here are your answers. I know that if you followed all of the simple steps from the lesson, you would have absolutely nailed this part of your questions. Thank you for tuning in to today's lessons. The next lesson, we're going to move into subtracting fractions. It's that teacher. Hope you're having a great day. We'll see you in the next lesson.